my chance!
This is amazing.
They say football's a game of two halves, and believe me, that was a game of two halves.
People look devastated.
It was kind of a horror movie unfolding very, very slowly before your eyes.
This is incredible. You know, am I believing this? What's going on?
You feel as if, you know, maybe someone up there is looking down on you.
Rattling on the windows. Your mind had gone.
It is by far the greatest night of my life. It was just brilliant.
It's like a film. I mean, if I watched that game as a film, I was like, I'd walk out and go, nah, they just did that for the story, right? That would never happen.
Morning Liverpool, morning North West and North Wales. It's Wednesday, the 25th of May 2005, and tonight Liverpool take on the might of AC Milan in the Champions League final in Istanbul.
It was one of those fantastic European days in the sense that it was gloriously sunny. You woke up, you thought, something good's going to happen here. It's another one of those, you know, something's good, we're going to win it today.
For Liverpool fans, the 2004-2005 Premiership campaign had left a lot to be desired, finishing 5th in the league and a massive 37 points behind champions Chelsea. It had been a frustrating season for the Reds, but not in Europe. Here they had excelled beyond their wildest dreams and were now on their way to the Champions League final. Their destination was Istanbul, a city where the Black Sea meets the Med, Europe meets Asia, and where Liverpool Football Club were meeting AC Milan for the most important trophy in club football. Milan were regarded by many as the best team in Europe, but they weren't about to take any victory for granted.
Liverpool's got a good team, they've got a good side, they've got very good players, quality players, so you know, before the final everybody knew that it was going to be a very hard game.
We knew that Liverpool were a hard nut to crack, a team that played counter-attacking football, a team that never gave up.
Liverpool had torn up the form book on their way to Istanbul. They'd overcome the likes of Bayer Leverkusen, Juventus and Chelsea to reach the final.
And as soon as we beat Chelsea, I mean, all of supporters on the street said, well, we're going to win it, and, you know, giving the players the belief. But at the back of your mind, you realise that you're playing AC Milan, and so I realised how, you know, how difficult it's going to be.
It's the biggest trophy you can win with a club, and, you know, to take part in a final with Liverpool was just, you know, unbelievable, and so was the mood in the camp. Everybody was buzzing and looking forward to it.
It was a complete mission, the whole going to Turkey thing, and I think that just added to the special occasion. Hook or crook, I would have got to Turkey that day.
We flew out to Istanbul from Milan, actually, and we found out that there were very, very few AC Milan supporters, so the ratio 1-4 was full of Liverpool fans.
Drove into the centre from the airport. Only Liverpool flags, only people wearing Liverpool shirts.
Everybody was talking about it. They were talking about the numbers, a number of people going there. You know, I think we ended up having 50 or 60,000 Scousers in Istanbul, which is fantastic.
I never saw an Italian. I never saw one the whole time I was there.
The square was bouncing just full of Liverpool fans. They couldn't see any Milan fans, but I don't know where they were. But then they just realised that this, you know, it really is the biggest game we'll probably ever play.
Definitely taking over. We take over everywhere, don't we?
Best supporters in the world!
Oh, the build-up was extraordinary. It was just so exciting.
Everyone loved the fun atmosphere, the friendly atmosphere, and it was a great afternoon as well, building up towards a game.
With Judgment Night fast approaching, the fans' next mission was to get to the Ataturk Olympic Stadium. The venue for the final was, quite literally, in the middle of nowhere.
The only thing you could say, anyone seen the wacky races on television? That's the taxi drivers.
It was like 3 lanes, but there was 5 lanes of cars, and it was just absolute bedlam.
If it was bad for those going by taxi to the ground, it was even worse for those going by coach.
We're on the way to the game. You just see fans just walking through all the hills, and you're thinking we must be close because the fans are walking, and then, you know, it still took us another 5 or 10 minutes on the coach. It was in the middle of nowhere. There was all hills, seemed like hills and mountains everywhere, and just fans walking up and down and trying to get to the ground. So that's when we realised, you know, how difficult it must have been to get to the ground.
Everyone just started getting off the buses and just walking.
Over all the rocks and the hills and the desert land, the sort of nuclear waste ground that we walked over to get there. And I had big shoes on like this. I hadn't thought it through clearly.
From where they dropped us to the ground was like a cross between the moon and Glastonbury. You just mud all over your feet and nowhere to be seen. But again, everyone was in a great mood. This was going to be a special night.
Back in Liverpool, the streets were deserted. As kick-off approached, fans were packing out pubs to watch the match. Lifelong Liverpool fan Paul Dames was watching in a bar in the city.
I was here in Sam's Bar. Come up with my cousin. Couldn't find anywhere to go. It was chocker everywhere. So my cousin went on a little mooch, give us a ring, and he said, "Get round here. Decent space, not as mad." So we were stuck up just close to the bar on the big screen, got a good spec.
Paul's 19-year-old son Lee had made the trip to Istanbul.
I was just wondering where my lad was and whether he was having a good time.
Over in Milan, fans were expecting nothing less than an Italian victory. Most people knew that if Liverpool were going to win this match, they would need every bit of luck they could get.
Luis Garcia said before the game, he said they didn't want anyone to touch the cup. You know, it's a bad omen. And as we gone out, Shevchenko and Kaká touched the cup, so we looked at each other and thought, well, you know, maybe that'll come back to haunt them.
Nobody expected us to be in the final. And we knew it's our maybe chance of our lives, you know, to go there playing against AC Milan.
Few of them had a glimpse of hope, but most of them were just saying it's going to be a nice evening of football without being too optimistic at all. Because they knew they were the underdog by far.
To win this will be absolutely fantastic achievement, and they're off straight.
Liverpool start the European Cup 2005, Champions League, the fresh name.
Obviously the thought before the game that was going to be a tight game, and I felt maybe one goal may win it, whoever gets the first goal.
Delivers it low, what a start! Paolo Maldini!
It's a goal of Maldini! Incredibile per lui! Il grande capitano dopo un minuto!
The Milan captain strikes first in the first minute!
What's going on? You know, they've scored like in the first minute of the game.
It's too quick. It's too quick. Let's start again. Let's start again. You know, maybe we haven't been ready yet or something like this, but it was a shock. It was very, very difficult moment for us.
I thought to myself, how's the team going to react now? Because we were a team, a solid team. We weren't a team made to take the game to somebody else. That wasn't in the makeup. If we abandon everything now and we just go chasing it, these are murderers.
We did start shouting for a penalty. There was a handball incident, we thought, and people were still shouting as the ball went to the other end.
And here's the trouble, it's Shevchenko, it's Crespo,